If you think you want to be a lawyer, girls are there. If you want to be a governor, majority vice governor, assistant governor, girls are there. So
my name is Usholale Bashura Ajoke. I'm a GS3 pupil.
Breaking Barriers, the journey of girls' education in Nigeria. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, with a population of over 200 million people. Despite its rich culture and abundant resources, Nigeria is also known for its low rates of girls' education. According to the 2022 UNESCO data, Nigeria has about 20 million out-of-school children, 60% of whom are girls. In many parts of Nigeria, girls face numerous obstacles in obtaining an education. Poverty, early marriages, cultural norms, and limited access to schools are just some of the challenges they must overcome.
I do know of a girl that after her senior secondary education, she dropped out of school and got married. I think one of the major issues is poverty. You know, when there's lack of finances, some parents tend to neglect the educational factor in the life of a child, mostly the girl child. Like in a scenario where a parent has both a male child and a female child, but they can't sponsor both of them, they would prefer to sponsor the male child, having the thought that he will bring in more money when he grows up.
The challenge that I am facing by training my children to be educated, I have is problem of financing them, because there is a time when, because we don't have enough money that we are going to cater with them, because they are not, she's not the only one that I have. There are many, and I wanted them to be educated. So by having this problem of financing, that is why only the few of them I have trained them to go for education. And it is the only one now that I'm going to see that she has further her education up to the university.
Training a girl child is like training an entire nation, because educating them prepares them to become good parents. When you find a female child who is not educated, you will get a bad society. My thought about educating a girl child: it's a big achievement in one's life, and it's a thing of joy, because educating her is educating the whole world. You see, in this community, we have received interventions from non-profit organizations to educate our girls for free. And this has been ongoing for over a decade. They have been helping in educating the girls for free by providing them with uniforms, learning materials, and they also pay their school fees. There was a time the organization helped to get the state government to remove the fees of girls in Kaduna State. The organization created awareness about this intervention that the government had done. We wish to continually get these kinds of intervention. If there are other stakeholders that can partner with these CSOs to bring interventions, I am certain we will succeed.
A girl or a lady rather, for me, a girl can just continue, because education now, a man can't just be proud that maybe this is what he's doing only. A man, before I be saying that okonometa whatsoever, there's no okonometa outside now without the helping hand of a woman. A girl, whatever a man is doing now, girls are, even women are doing it. So if you think that maybe you want to be a doctor, girls are there. If you think you want to be a lawyer, girls are there. If you want to be a governor, majority vice governor, assistant governor, girls are there. So the value of education, for me, I support a girl to just school to the level she can before she get married.
Okay. Girls faces more challenges than boys, because if you go to the root of their homes, you see the rigorous things that they undergo before finally they get to the school from morning to evening. You will be so much convinced that the girls are trying despite the hardship. But basically there are so many challenges. the family relies so much on female girl at home in domestic work. But even at that, you find that the girl child try as much as possible to be in school, even though most of the times they come late due to the commitment in the home. And that affected most of their performance in the school. If much can be done in that respect to uplift their life, they reduce their suffering at home and the level of the poverty of the parents and so on, that will improve better their performances.
Challenges of education generally, I tend to put it in this acronym FCT. We have facilities as our problem. Lack of facilities is one major problem. Then the C is curriculum. Our curriculum is outdated, and unfortunately we are teaching 21st century in an old way, and then teacher training is another factor. So that one is a broad perspective of what the education problem is. However, for girls' education, there are a lot of things. We have cultural bias as one challenge. Lack of digital facilities, as I said. We have gender roles or gender stereotypes. I mean, among so many other factors too.
The challenge is that sometimes my money is not around. I'm the only one that I can do everything. That can cause to become late. The textbooks, the school is want because not any textbook to read. The only thing that we do is if the teacher is enter the class. That is the only thing. You don't have any textbook to go back and read. If you have a question, you can come and ask.
The challenges that we have in the school is that we don't have, our laboratory is too narrow for us because we are too many in numbers, and we don't have materials for reading. We don't have it.
Personally, my own challenge and the things I think that can hinder education are three. Distance, infrastructure, and teacher training. First of all, the distance. If my school or the school that I want to go to is way too far from my house, like in the rural areas where there are not enough schools, even those that want to go to school can't go to school because it's too far and they can't afford such transport and the money to pay for the fees. So if they think of things like that, they might just relent and feel discouraged to go to school because they might be struggling to find ends meet every day. Now to add up and pile up the transport, the school fees and all these things, it will only take really encouraged students to go to school in such circumstances. I feel if there are more schools and free education, that girls and generally students will be willing to go to school, because if there is free education and there are no more schools, I think that will be a problem. I can have free education and the transport to cost me to go to school a day can be 1,000 naira. In a week, that can cover my school fees. So even if I have free education, that distance will also be a challenge for me. So if there are more schools like a stone throw away from my house where I can just literally walk into and then it's also free, I think that so many people will be willing to go to school. And when it comes to the infrastructure, if I go to school and then the windows are broken, the roofs are leaking, and everywhere is just a bit messy, I don't think I'll be able to learn in such environment. The teachers are up to date. Like not all teachers enter class. Some of them, they skip classes. So students will be in school, but there's no teacher to teach them. That's just waste of their time, energy. They'll come to school and they will not learn anything. So I think these are the challenges that I personally face as a student.
My challenges is, like, I want to become a doctor, but we don't have enough of practical requirements. We have lack of lab. We not use the practical because we have lack of lab. So, and also we have lack of tolerance in this school. Also, this is my challenges.
We need a confirmed teachers that will teach us things more like our former teachers, and we need a laboratory in this school and computer laboratory too. We need a computer lab so that we will go there and have a practical there.
I want the government to provide a sick bay because the sick bay will serve as first aid for the school before the children are taken to their parents.
I have a library, And then if we are up for practicals, we don't have laboratories that will do the practicals. And then the equipment that we need for the practicals are not that much. And then our toilet, we don't have a specific toilet. Even due to our own staffs, we don't have like a specific toilet.
One of them is the amount of students in the class. Sometimes the teachers try their best teaching us, but the amount of students won't allow us to get what we are learning because they will be so loud, noisy, lousy like that. So the teacher will not, they don't provide conducive environment for the learning. So at the end we'll come somehow empty-handed and go back somehow empty-handed. I find it sometimes difficult, sometimes easy. It becomes easy when it's morning shifts. And because if it's morning shifts, we all go out like normally other students will go, we take on our daily activities in the school. When we go back, we have enough time to do our daily activities. We have time for ourselves to read our books. Unlike the afternoon shifts, in the afternoon, we might wake up in the morning, do our daily chores, and we'll be very weak. Coming to school in the afternoon, to just be like we are just coming as an idle, because we'll just be idle. Even teaching, our attention will not be there, and that is due to lack of enough classes. I don't mean there are classes enough, the other ones would have their own, and everybody would have been coming early in the morning shifts.
Because of the lack of infrastructure, some students, mostly girls, they find it hard to come to school because there's no adequate facilities like toilets for them to be able to feel comfortable in that environment, and even lack of sanitary materials. Like I know of some girls that because of their menstruation, they don't come to school for a certain period of time, and when they stop, they come back, and for those period of days, they lose a lot.
I think there should be free pads in school, in every school for girls, because not every girl knows how to calculate when a period is to come or when it is not. Some girls can be in class and it suddenly just starts. What are they going to do then? They don't have to leave the school. They can just go to the school clinic and get a free pad and go to a comfortable toilet that is clean and water is running. They can clean themselves up, wear their pad, and then they'll feel comfortable to go back to class. So I feel if there are more sanitary equipment in the school for available for the girls, that would be great for them. And also I think educating them, not just the girls, the boys most especially, on this menstrual thing. There was a girl that I knew of, she was in school and that was her first period. She didn't know about it. And when it started in class, all the boys started mocking her and she felt really bad that something like this happened to her. And after that day, she never came back to school. So I feel if boys especially are educated on this menstrual thing, and it's not, let them know that it's not something that you mock the girls for, it's not something that you make them feel embarrassed and disgusted for, it's something that is natural and it should happen, must happen. So I think if they're in a better environment to feel comfortable and accepted by everybody, it will make it very, very good for them.
But despite these challenges, many girls in Nigeria are determined to break the cycle of poverty and inequality through education. The fight for girls' education in Nigeria is far from over, but by working together and taking action, we can break down the barriers and ensure that every girl in Nigeria has the opportunity to learn, grow, and succeed.
My name is Faith Audu. When I was 12 years old, I couldn't have the opportunity to go to school. So my parents decided to send me to town to stay with some of my relatives there so that they can send me to school. But rather, I was doing some chores for them, going to farm, hawking for them. But my parents wasn't happy about that. So they decided to take me to another people who were able to take care of me and put me to school. So from there, I started going to school. But I know that some of my friends who are in the village there who be willing to go to school like me too and have a good education like me too. But they don't have the opportunity to go to school like me. I would like to see more schools in the village for girls of my age to be able to go to school too. I have, even though it's a little education, I would like school to be free so that parents can send their children to school without any fear that there is no money or challenges.
I would want government and stakeholders to provide more schools in rural areas so it makes education easy and accessible. I would also want them to provide a better infrastructure on the schools, even in the sanitary area, which I earlier mentioned. And I also want free material resources which enables the students to learn properly, especially the girls. I would also want free education where everything is free, no hidden charges, everything from the books to the school fees to the PTA, everything is free, so that those who are willing to learn will have nothing stopping them from learning.
More chemicals in the chemistry lab and some equipment we can use when we are given assignments on it. And I would like to see more improved teachers, experienced teachers to teach us.
Providing a conducive environment for learning. Like classes, there should be much classes so that the amount of students will be few for easy understanding and easy learning. And also like our laboratories, we need some equipment, lack of equipment. So
I want to have teachers that is very disciplined because the student is not serious in this school.
See, one of the things we normally encounter in our school here is due to the shifting that we are now, the morning and the afternoon shift. Sometimes when we are in morning classes, the students are there, they won't complain of anything, but when we come back to the afternoon shift, they complain of hunger and the rest, and they complain of they are tired because of staying from morning till evening. So I would like maybe we have more classes so that it can enhance the activities going on in the school, so as to stop this shifting of this rotating.
Sponsoring them or empowering them with skills acquisition, with some little capital to make use of it at home would facilitate their compatibility to go to school comfortably.
The statistics in the world, in Nigeria, is that we have 20 million out of school children and we have 60% girls. I think the government needs to be very intentional. Giving orientation to parents, fine. Then put attractive infrastructure in school. This is 21st century, for God's sake. Nobody wants to enter a school that is full of, the windows are off, the roof is leaking. Of course, it's not even attractive that way. But make education attractive, and you see that the children themselves will be drawn to it. And make special education for girls. I think poverty is another factor that is affecting education. If you can handle something like free education now, make feeding available, make materials available, make the stress of financial burden less on parents. You will discover that more parents who tend to hide under cultural bias will open up and release their children to go to school. They are the very example of great female who are educated. I think education should be free with all sense of responsibility. Don't ask my child not to pay school fees of maybe 5,000 naira, yet I will pay PTA of 3,000 naira. I'm going to still buy books, I'm going to still buy uniform, I will still eventually then pay for the certificate examination to talk about WAEC or NECO. No. When it is free, please can we make it free with all sense of responsibility? And don't just make it free and then you give us dilapidated classrooms. No. Make everything that education needs to be education, make it available. And I think it's also time we looked into our curriculum. Maybe our curriculum is well tailored to favor the peculiarity of female children. I think there will be more attraction at that area. Let's look at STEM education, for instance. But if you check the entire demography, I think we have more boys enjoying science education. The girl child should be, or girl children, whichever way now, should be encouraged to take science education serious. Now, it starts from the teachers anyway. Now, we have few examples of female teachers in that realm. Maybe that's one perspective. Okay, we don't have male biology teacher, we don't have female biology teacher, we don't have female physics teacher, we don't have female chemistry teacher. So that may distract some of them, like, okay, I think this particular realm is meant for female, it's only meant for male, and then some of them tend to go into the social science and the art. I think something could be done in that area that can attract them. I mean, special program can be organized for girls, maybe competition for girls alone, but it shouldn't start from senior secondary school, something from primary school. where we direct their thoughts towards science education, both from primary school and junior education. I must say that the girls still need to do a whole lot. We are running a literacy program currently here. We discovered that I think more girls cannot read compared to their male counterparts. So I think a lot will still need to be done at the foundation.
Education is a fundamental right that every child should have access to. As such, there is a need for collective action to support girls' education in Nigeria. We call on all stakeholders, individuals, communities and governments to increase funding to basic education, provide access for increased enrollment and enabling environment for completion of the first 12 years of schooling for all, and most importantly, the out-of-school girls. This can be achieved by supporting organizations that provide scholarships and financial aid, promoting advocacy and community engagement to address cultural beliefs and practices, and investing in infrastructure to improve the quality of education. By working together, we can break down the barriers that prevent girls from accessing education and create a brighter future for all.